my name is Lucy. I work at Sony Music. I'm senior manager in the Insight team there, mainly focusing on the UK at the moment. For those of you who were expecting this lady, sorry, I'm not her. For those of you who don't know who she is, her name is Lucille Ball. She's a famous comedian from the 1950s. I can't promise to be as funny as her. So I'm here to talk to you today about big data and big data within the music industry and how record labels of today are using big data to gain insights. To start off with, though, I want to take you on a bit of a journey, and I want to look at how consumer behaviour has changed over the course of time. So you may remember this thing. It's an LP. It soon became a cassette and then a CD, and that's really where it started for the consumer. It was a set of tracks on a physical product that someone had to go and buy. And these people, I really like this photo, they're all leaning back, waiting for us to deliver the music to them. There's really actually no relationship that they have with the artist. They're just kind of there, waiting for the music. And the way in which they would hear about the music would be through kind of traditional methods, so radio, TV, newspapers, or out of house. And the way in which record labels would really judge how well an artist or a track did was within the charts. So sales equals chart position. And we would really base our marketing activities on how well or unwell the act was doing in the charts. So for those of you who think like data is a new thing within the industry, yes, big data might be a new thing, but actually we've always been a fairly data-driven industry. So what's it like now? Fast forwarding, no pun intended, to today. Love this picture. One Direction, loads of fans, they're all leaning in. They're actively waiting, or they're actively joining in with that experience. You can see Harry's face on all the phones. I love it. They're probably periscoping it or Snapchatting it or something. But really leaning in and having that kind of one-on-one experience with the fan. And actually, social media has really enabled the fan to do that. So this is where streaming comes into play. Actually, nowadays, you have all the songs that you want, or nearly all the songs, Taylor Swift, in your pocket. To be able to stream whenever you want. Cue big data fact. So in 2015, the amount of data produced every 2 days matches the amount of data that was produced in the entire history before 2003. So what does that mean in terms of music? So there are lots of apps around at the moment. So for example, you might be in a bar and you might listen to a song. You say, hey, I don't know what that song is. So you reach for your phone and you go to Shazam. And we get a line of data for that. Likewise, with streaming services, if you're on Apple or Spotify, you go to reach your pocket, you're like, oh, I want to listen to something on the commute to work. We get a line of data for that. Also, if you're then looking on social media and then you decide to, oh, I want to like my artist, we know more about you from that as well. So what does big data help us answer in the music industry? Really kind of 5 key questions. So the first one being the who. So who are our fans? Who is listening to our music? So we get from the likes of Spotify, we get age, gender. We get that on an artist basis, we get that on a track basis. So it really informs our decisions around how we're targeting. It might inform our decisions on what single we release next. Do we want to go for a more kind of older single that is reaching a new audience, or are we still in the phase of the campaign where we're trying to engage our younger audience? The next one is the how. So how are they consuming? Are they on mobile? Are they on tablet? Are they on desktop? Where are they? Is it iOS or is it Android? So lots of things that we get in relation to how we can better target our audience digitally. Where are they? So this is based in terms of location, so we get a country or we get an area within a country. But also, where are they within the client? So if I'm talking about Spotify, you'll know that you can actually You can drag and drop songs into what is called your own collection, and that's kind of there for you to listen to later. But you can also listen to songs from playlists and stuff, so we know where you are within the client. And then we're going on to when, so what time of day, are you commuting, is it in the afternoon, what kind of context are you listening to that music in? And then the what, and I'm going to stick on this one for a second. So this is really new to the music industry, because actually, when you used to sell that CD, that was kind of the end of it. We had kind of got our money and that was it. Well, actually nowadays, the what's really important. Like, what are people actually listening to? And how much are they listening to of it? Because when we're thinking about streams, if you just stream something once, that's fine. But if you stream 100 times, that's a way cool metric that we can kind of look at nowadays. So that really helps us kind of start to think about fans and how fans engage with music in different ways. And this is where I just want to touch upon Spotify Fan Insights. So this is something that has come out for artists and managers. I believe it came out a couple of months ago. And Spotify Fan Insights, essentially what it does is it takes listening behavior off of the service and groups you. If you listen to a certain artist a lot or a certain track a lot, it will group you into a fan bucket. So I think their definition of a fan is you listened repeatedly for the past 6 months and you saved it to your own collection. They also have other metrics for fans. There's one called streakers, so they are people whereby you listen to the song or artist every day for the last 7 days, and they've got a couple of other metrics that you can use, and you can see the demographics of those metrics as well. So that really kind of lets artists and managers get under the skin of their artists and look at fan bases in a different way that they wouldn't have been able to do in the past. And then I think Sammy touched upon this yesterday. Really cool thing that Spotify have done with Foo Fighters. So you can see they're starting to test what they can do with fans. So they sent out a mailer to everyone that had listened a significant amount to Foo Fighters on the service, to their fans essentially, with a really cool thing that was an invitation to a gig. They wanted all their hardcore fans there. And so what's the Holy Grail for us? So really, it's that actually I know where someone discovered something, I know where someone then listened, then engaged, and then went on to like that artist. Because actually, if we can tailor our message to each of these 4 buckets, then that's really, really great. If we know where people are, then we can be much more direct and reward the fans that we have in the right way. But there's a question that wasn't up there, and that's the why. And I just want to touch on this because actually the why is something the big data doesn't really help us answer. This is our segmentation that we use at Sony Music. This is the UK one. It's got some funny names there. We have it across 41 countries to date. And this is a nationally representative view of the music landscape. It's really the context. And when you're thinking about big data's not the context. Big data may just be within Spotify, it may just be within Facebook. But this is saying, well, what do people do at a nationally representative level? So I'll explain this for a second. So we group consumers based on their passion towards music. So if you're a fanatic, you love music, you're probably looking on blogs, you're really, really kind of leaning into music. If you're an enthusiast, it probably kind of, you like music, but it's probably up there among kind of fashion and sports and stuff. There's other things that you like as well. If you're a casual, then you're probably watching X Factor, and that's how you're finding your music. And if you're an indifferent, then you've probably only bought Adele, or heard of Adele, or know that she's released something recently. You probably don't know anything else about the music landscape at all. And then it's broken down by age. So everyone in the population fits into one of these buckets. But it really helps us get under the skin of consumers. And using surveys or focus groups, we can really start to understand the why. So I'm going to leave you with a quote today. I really love this. This is from Jeff Rossi, who is Spotify's Global Director of Business Marketing. And it says, "I don't care so much about the data. I care about the fact that I have created a better insight than anyone else. And I really agree with this. And I think what he's trying to say is actually, like, give me as much data as you want, but unless it's useful for marketing teams, then it's not useful at all. So that's where I really want to leave it with you today. Thank you very much.